Hey folks, Jonathan here. I wanted to show you a little vehicle I picked up. And I actually picked this thing up wrecked about, I don't know, it's been probably 6 months ago. And it was on this roof, flipped it over, took it to the storage lot in my other county. And anyway, the customer, insurance paid it because he had full coverage. He had bought this new. And believe it or not, this is a 2000 model Land Rover Discovery. And like I said, he purchased it brand new. He was really particular about this thing. Retired gentleman. And when I picked it up, I actually thought it was a lot newer than it was because it's dirty now from sitting and all that. But he had kept it polished and clean and really nice vehicle. And anyway, he bought it back from the insurance company. And of course, they paid him for, whatever. And he made an offer, or they offered, and he took it to their, had it taken to his house, and it sit. And he told me that he just, every time he walked out and looked at it, it made him feel bad, because he really liked the vehicle. And so he decided he wanted to get rid of it. And he had called me and, told me what he was wanting for it, which was a little higher than I wanted to pay. And called me back again, and he was dropping the price, and it got so low that I sort of figured it better be a good idea to go at least take a look at it. And there's sort of a reason behind me being interested in this thing, and I'll show you why here in a second. I don't know how many people's familiar. I'm sure a lot of you over in the UK will be familiar with this. This is a 4-liter engine. Hold on just a second, let me get the hood propped down. Okay, this is a 4-liter engine, and a lot of people will know this, but a lot of people don't realize that these engines have got a lot of history behind them. This is actually a sort of a design of a 215 Buick engine, which is a aluminum block V8 engine that Buick actually designed. They designed it in the late 50s and actually built it in 61 for 62 model production cars. And it was a full aluminum block, aluminum head V8, weighed about 320 pounds. And they only built this engine until 63 and used it. And they 300 and something thousand, almost 400,000 of them I think they built. And I actually used to have one in a Buick. And I think it was a Skylark, but 62, 63 model. And I really liked it. I had a friend that had one. He drove it, had a power glide in it. Pretty good power for what they were. And, somewhere around 190, 200 horsepower. And just sounded good. Always was really good sounding engines. But, they had some problems with the antifreeze not being compatible with the aluminum, and it was clogging radiators up and giving problems. So they in 63 basically they just ditched it and quit building them. And in 1965 Rover bought all the tooling and the design, and they started actually building some. And actually when they'd done it, one of the engineers that had retired from Buick, and I can't remember, I think his name was like Turley or something, but he actually went over with them with the tooling and helped them get a start on building them and putting them together. But they ended up using the engine in a lot of different things besides just the Rover. They used it in Triumph, the TR8s, the Morgan, I think the MGB used them, and of course a lot in the Rovers. But and they finally, they was updating the design and changing it. This is the same stroke, I believe, with a bigger bore, but same design engine. Looks the same to me, the way the valve covers are set up and everything. Only updated fuel injection and all that. But they finally, they actually ran the design for 40 years before they stopped. It was, I think 2005 is when they quit, but that was after I think the MG Rover group sort of disappeared. But the engine's got a lot of history behind it, though. I mean, the different things that they had done. In 62, when they was putting them in the Buicks, Mickey Thompson actually used this engine, or used this stock block in an Indy 500 car, which was the first time since like World War II that a stock engine had been used. Most everybody was using the Oppenheiser engines, and so it was kind of a big deal to go back to an actual stock, company block instead of a aftermarket. And then also when it was owned by Rover, they had something called I think it was the Iceberg Project, where they actually built this engine into a diesel, and they had head trouble and stuff, but Perkins was involved with that, and they just used a regular rotary injector pump, and they made it a turbo version and a non-turbo version. I don't know whatever happened with the deal on that, but I know it didn't last long because they was having issues with it. But that'd been a neat engine as a diesel, but they stopped using this particular engine, the 4.0, in 2003, and but this is, like I said, the same design engine is what they used from 1961 or 62 in the Buicks and all the way up through. But this one actually runs and drives good. I didn't realize that they hadn't started it since it had been turned over, and I finally got it fired up, and it smoked for a while and all and cleared up. Got a skip in it. I think it's probably got a plug that's bad. It's been sitting, but it still runs pretty good. Kind of not a lot of headroom with the roof crushed down, but he was really good about getting this thing clean, keeping it clean and serviced and everything. And I'll show you the mileage here. It's got 111,000 miles on it, and next oil change is due at 113, but as you can see, it sort of messed it up pretty bad. But the four-wheel drive works, everything works. It actually drives and everything. But plans for this now, as most of you know, I start collecting stuff up for a project sometimes 4 or 5 years ahead of time, and just having something in my mind I want to do, and sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. But sometimes I put my idea off on somebody else, and they actually buy the stuff and do it themselves, and even using what I had planned to do. But I thought a rebody would be nice, and I think that would be a good body to put on this, and to be able to pull the body off of this and keep all the engine, fuel injection, everything, of course the four-wheel drive, and use everything and change it over to that Willys. Now that 53, I've actually got a perfect set of front fenders, an absolute perfect hood. I've got brand new windshield for it. I got the new rubber for it. I've got a lot of really nice parts for that. And I had talked about another rat rod build, and that one there, out of the 3 that I had picked, that one sort of wasn't mentioned at all. So I don't think we're going to do it as a rat rod. But I think it would be a good body swap for this. This is a shorter wheelbase, but when you're dealing with a pickup bed, you can make the bed any length you want. But or you can extend the frame on this. Wouldn't be a problem. So anyway, in the future, maybe I get a few projects here knocked out, I'll have time to mess with something like that. But this thing's got he put a Flowmaster on it. And he always talked, he was talking about how it sounded like a Mustang. He liked it, but anyway, clean engine. Like I said, I've got a skip in it there. I got to figure out what the miss is on it, but I don't think there's going to be any kind of issues with it. But a lot of good history on the engine, and I'm sure some of you in the UK will know a whole lot more about them than even I do, because in my understanding, they use these in a lot of different stuff, and there was a lot of swaps with them, and people just liked them over there. And I mean, I can understand why. It's a neat engine. If you notice the way the valve covers sort of come up and shoot straight up, that's sort of a Buick thing, and you can still see it on this one. And but anyway, interesting that a design that was made in the late 50s made it all the way up through, and this is, you know, a 2000 model, and you know, although it's updated, it's still a Buick. All right, appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.